How about FedEx? Did anybody like FedEx? Which way is it gonna go? So if you look at, there's two things I want to look at. Down here on the right, there's industrials and there's transportation. Let me hide my face to make sure you guys can see it all. Industrials is the sector. That sector's looking bullish. Okay? So when I look at FedEx, which way is it going to go? That could go either way, right? So is the sector going to push it bullish? Let's look at transportation. Transportation is looking bullish, right? Okay, so back to FedEx. What else is it in? XLI. We did that one. And you got to, like, it's in the SPY. But, you know, we don't know. It's not a big player in the SPY, see 0.1%. It is a big player in IYT and XLI. Now notice sectors, it goes market is the big conglomerate of 3,300 stocks, 8,000 if you look at all the markets. Sectors, how many sectors are there? 11 major sectors. Then you got the commodity sectors like gold or whatever. And then industries, how many industries are? So you break the sector into industries, and there's roughly, what I've seen from Dorsey, right, 160 plus industries. You know what's crazy? Remember when you're in high school and you're trying to figure out what job you want to do in the future? What's interesting is most kids can only name like a dozen different jobs. And everybody's like, I don't want to be a teacher, right? Oops. Well, can you name a dozen industries? Can you name the dozen sectors? Once you find out all the different industries and all the different jobs in there, you go, oh my God, that's kind of interesting. So there's a lot of stuff to learn in the stock market, right? But when you go down here, industrials, what's interesting about this is the sector. And it's only 1.2% influence on that. So there's bigger stocks in there probably like UPS, who have you. Spiders only 0.1%. But do you see how the spiders is the biggest market? Then you have the sector, and then you have the industry. So when you break it down to the industries, there's less players. Therefore, there's more influence from the stock. So mainly, FDX doesn't affect spiders that much. It's only 0.1%. It doesn't even it could gap 50% and it's not going to budge the SPY. Okay. A $1 move on NVIDIA will blow it away. Now it's 10 times that influence on industrials, but it's 4%, which is a big percent of transportation. So which one's more important to look at as backing the FDX? Would it be the spiders? Would it be the sector? Or would it be the industry? That gives you an idea of what the stock's doing, where the big money's flowing. Which of the three, the market, the sector, or the industry, MSI, which one gives you a better clue to whether it's being bought or sold? Okay, so trade management, what do? That's the lesson today. Trigger here, stop loss there, target one right there. So for me, if it triggers here, that would be a bull call spread, delta 25. You're looking at about a 30-point spread. So you're looking at the 340 by 370. Bull put side, you're looking at 275 by 250. And let me draw that a little better. 275 is the short strike. 250 is the long strike. Looking at AT&T earnings earlier this week. What happened? Oh, so make sure we have earnings button in there. Earnings button right here on the right. You guys see the earnings button right here? So it ran up and gapped up, and you can see what happened. We said, whoa, pretty good. Who's the sister company? Verizon. Will they follow? Oh, God, let's go see. Odds are they will. And they had earnings this morning, and there you go. They jumped up. So you see how AT&T dipped down and Verizon both dipped down, and now earnings brought them out of the slump. So that was predictable, right? Did we do a trade on here? Or we just said no, we're waiting for earnings, right? I think we did in the wheel strategy. I was saying I'm selling naked puts out here because I like the company. It's a huge dividend. It's like 6-7%. You go to fundamentals, financials. If you like the dividend, do you do a naked put or do you do a covered call? Naked put. Wow, that's some horrible drawing, Gino. Never going to make it in art. Okay, naked put or covered call if you want the dividend. Well, in order to get this dividend, you got to own the stock, and that's a covered call. But nothing wrong with doing a naked put way down here to where, hey, if I get assigned at 7%, and that's shareholder friendly. So as it comes off a bottom and it changes trend, do you buy it? Do you buy it? What I like to do is put a trigger to get me in the next day. But yeah, it is turning around here. Nothing wrong with buying it, doing that to money call. And if it gets taken away, buying it again, right? So you always have it. There you go. So that was our follow-up on AT&T and Verizon. So we're going to go right here on FedEx. Who like BRX? Which is real estate. A lot of real estate picks. And honestly, they're not my favorite. Because look at the target is only 50 cents higher. It's just boring. Like Host Hotels, real estate, hotel, motel. We already got a trigger on, I got a trigger on Host right here. Target 1 is right there. So I like that. Kim Realty. So when you look at Target 1, can you see it from here? It's 26 bucks. The target right here is like 26.50. Not my favorite. It's got to have room to move if it's real estate. Here's another REIT. This is PLD. This one not too bad because you can see the target here, 154. So 140, that's a $5 move. Not too shabby, right? So the trigger here would be right there. EWZ is a Brazilian ETF, too far off the moving average. Copex, this looks like it's reversing trend. We're looking at copper miners. Copper miners ETF. Not bullish for me. That's way over it. That's just not even trending yet. NV, what's this guy? Granite shares 2 times long the NVIDIA daily ETF. Interesting. For $32, you can buy NVIDIA. But it's 2 times the volatility. So it's cheaper and you get twice the movement, which, by the way, is still smaller than NVIDIA because it's only $32. But it allows you to get into it. Do you get into it here? Maybe I should go look at NVIDIA. You got to make sure on these specialty companies, they look exact same. Exact same. So for me, I would rather do NVIDIA, but for options. But NVDL, does it have options? I don't know. For me, it's up here, the breakout. Now, why did this pop up? Because technology is not giving us the buy signal yet because it's a financial ETF. So it's not in the right sector. How about Amphenol? Hardware equipment parts, that's a nice bear trigger. We're in bear setups, but it's got good fundamentals. Earnings right here, too close. Sorry, Amphenol, too close for earnings for me. You're gone. Jabil has no earnings. Look at that. That's a good risk reward. I like the trigger right there. Technology, hardware, and equipment, because we have a trigger right here below that candle. We have a trigger below that candle. Downtrending, hit its head on the, let's go see what this is like. Yeah, that's red candle. Let's see what that, look at the target 1. Target 1's better than 1-to-1, so that's good. It's actually 2-to-1. So if it double bottoms, you're 2-to-1. That's your ideal setup. That right there is technology, 38%. Financials, 11.9. Communications, 9.9. So it's breaking. I see the bar, how it gets smaller and smaller there. And then down here. Now, if you click this, like that, right there, you can see them in order. Now, what I want to point out is, I've done this before, technology, communications, discretion. These are the growth right here. 3. So when you add that up, what do you get? 20%, right? Almost. 58%. So it is 58% of the market. So basically, if you bought the S&P 500, 58% of your money is in the growth sector. So you might have an aha moment here. Let me see. I'll do this. I've done this once before, I'm pretty sure. If you're growth heavy in your IRA or 401k, you're probably seeing a down month big time because 58% isn't. Now, what's down here? Financials, energy, materials, and industrials. So financials is 12. Energy's 3. That's 15. Another 2 is 17. About 24. And those are green. So which way do you think the market's moving when 58% of growth is bearish? And then finally, when you come down to the defensive. Now, healthcare is the biggest, financials is the biggest of its group, and technology is definitely the biggest. Well, you can see technology is 38%. I mean, just by itself, right? Now, healthcare, not too shabby, is 9%. Staples, 4.5%. Utilities, and real estate. So what do you have here? 18% roughly. So roughly, right? So I'm not adding up the percentages. Do you see that growth is basically the dominant player here by far? Now, defensive, if everything shifts over to defensive, the money shifts over to defensive, it's not going to help the market. So you would need twice the movement, 2.5 on cyclicals to make the market go up against this. So really what it's looking like it's like, okay, playing basketball, these guys are all 6 inches taller than everybody else, okay? In fact, they're a foot taller than these guys down here. Unfair advantage. It's kind of like basketball. These guys are 7 foot tall. These guys are 6, and these guys are 5. All things being equal, except for this, yeah, it's unfair, right? So they're at 38%. The next biggest sector is only not even a third that. It's almost 3.5 times bigger than the next biggest sector. So energy's rallying right now. Our strongest sector is rallying. Energy. That's our strongest sector. But do you think a sector that is only 3% of the market is going to make the market go up against a bear sector that's 38? So when this goes down, to offset it, this would have to go up 10 times as much. So for every 1% decline here, you need a 10% increase. Do you see how unbalanced it is? The market is really favoring this. Because right now, we've got this bullish, and it's not making the market look good at all. And unfortunately, we got the growth right here. 58% of the market. That's what's going on, guys. So that's why if you're diversified among all the sectors, are you really diversified? No, because if you're diversified, you're still playing these guys. So if you buy 2 stocks in each sector, you're not diversified. Yeah, today's list is right here. FDX, we decided to go bullish. So let me just switch to my host. Bullish, JBL, bearish, and PLD, bullish. See it? There it is. And it is a community list now, right? It's community. So when I make this, I can stop sharing colors. I am sharing it. So yeah. And make sure you're set up for where you're copying the contributors' colors.